Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-host, Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Christopher G. Mohr, and myself will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. And if you want a little more fun in your horror, you've come to the right place. Tonight, we are reviewing What We Do in the Shadows, Season 4, 5, Episodes 1 through 4. Sorry about the slip up. All right. We hope you are watching the show as it's streaming on FX and Hulu, because we're going to have a great time reviewing it. All right. Let me introduce my crew, starting off with my co-host, Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, but you're dead, and out of this world.
Very good. Here's your gold star, sir.
My all-time favorite theme song.
I do too. I love it. Also joining this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
Okay, wait. It's a theme song. What's the theme song?
It's the song at the beginning of.
You're dead.
Song at the beginning.
You're dead.
Oh my God!
You're dead.
By Norma Tanaga from 1966.
Like a bat.
Bat right over your head.
Dear God! Like
all good music was made.
What? And it's the same one every time, and the same for
it doesn't change.
5 years. 5 years.
Did you watch these episodes, Crystal?
I did, and I didn't even skip the intros. That's the best part.
I know, because the song is so great.
All right. That's. I don't know.
Pictures.
You'll make up for it. You'll make up.
My brain sometimes.
Also joining us this week is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. How you doing, sir?
To quote Laszlo,
Oh no.
stay clear of the breakfast burritos. I'm doing well. He pronounces words in ways
I love it.
that defy pronunciation, and I love it.
You
can learn a lot from him, Doc.
I just thought you needed to stay away from
Just
the
own it.
Just own it.
Yeah.
Accentuate the positive, right?
So many quotable lines in this series. Some that we would get
probably can't repeat.
Just talking about it.
Right, that's absolutely right.
Hilarious.
Oh, the characters are just getting better and better, and just the situations. All right. Yes. We've already expressed in past episodes how much we love the show, so this is going to be we're just going to heap enormous amounts of love on this show.
Yes.
But we're going to get into some specifics, what we really like, what is so special about these particular 4 episodes. But we're going to start off giving you our first impressions. Those first impressions will be spoiler free, and we're going to we can do them as a whole, or if you want to talk about each one, up to you. Then we'll get into a discussion about these episodes, and then we'll wrap things up with our score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. More scenes, because there's plenty of them. All right, let's get things started. Well, there's some things I gotta do. There's some things I have to do. We hope you enjoyed not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you do, please hit like, subscribe, and share with a friend buttons. They're easy and free to do. And every little click counts. It helps us find more horror fans just like you. Ready for the card? Almost skipped the card. Boom! What We Do in the Shadows, 2023, FX and Hulu, Season 5, Episodes 1 through 4, available on FX and Hulu beginning July 13th, 2023. Episode 1 is The Mall. Vampires discover the mall. That's pretty brilliant. Episode 2 is A Night Out with the Guys. Nandor and Laszlo have a night out with Sean and his friends, and Nadja discovers the source of her bad luck. Episode 3, Pride Parade. Vampires help Sean host a pride parade. That's all you had to say. Nadja helps her doll achieve a long-held dream that she does. And it's disturbing.
Yeah.
Episode 4, The Campaign. Colin runs for office, and Nandor makes a new friend, and Nadja reconnects with our roots. They're directed by off and on between the two, Yanya Gorsaka. No, that's not even right. Gorskaya.
Gorskaya.
Thank you. Tongue twisted. I am. Kyle Newacek.
Probably.
Sure.
Written by Lauren Wells, Marika Sawyer, Paul Sims, Jake Benter, Matt Brockman, Shayna Gold. Created by Jermaine Clement and did I misdo that one?
You totally. It's cool. Just keep going.
Go ahead. Go ahead and say it. Say it.
Keep
Say
going.
it. Say
No.
both
You literally said like the full wrong name. You called Max Matt, and you called Shanna Go. I don't even know what you called her. Some other name.
I just mixed them up.
You can't spell it with.
All right, we'll do.
Breakfast burritos.
I don't know where I was going, but I got there oddly enough.
So
All right,
that's why I was like, that was a new level.
If everybody
like,
would just be named Smith and Johnson, we'd be fine.
He'd find a way.
I'd screw that up.
Yeah.
He'd find a way. He'd pull a Laszlo on those.
See, that's one thing.
For
The
sure.
reason why we don't use a script, because if I was reading a monitor, I'd fuck it up. All right, let's get into things. What is our first impression of these 4 episodes, starting off with Christopher G. Mohr?
You know, I love this show. And I mean, just when you think they're running out of ideas, they take it further. And I think one of the best parts of the show is that it isn't one of those things where they just keep repeating the same type of stuff. There's a lot of world building. You know, they've created this world in the very beginning, and yeah, a lot of it's based on the traditional vampire type stuff, but then they kind of expand it, and you learn their own version of the vampire lore and stuff, and how things work, how you can't be bit by 2 different vampires. You know, there's other things that they kind of explain that, and but then they just go on to, you know, and even just how we kind of expand on the energy vampire, how there's an energy vampire council that's just as ridiculous.
Oh my god, yeah.
if not more than you thought Colin was bad. And just how they have so much, and also just the relationship and stuff, how this kind of changed throughout the seasons. You know, how like the how Nandor and Guillermo and their issues between there and now, you know, because of what happened at the end of last season. Because, you know, if you remember, the end of last season isn't giving anything away. He paid money to his friend who became a vampire to bite him so he could become a vampire. So, but yeah, and also just this show just goes just crazy sexual ways that I was like, what? There's a malignant joke. That's freaking gross and
too
hilarious.
Much.
Too much.
No, too much.
If you watch at the end of end credits of the one, I can't remember. I think maybe it's the campaign episode or one of the episodes.
I think it is. No, it's
it's Pride.
The stream. Yeah,
not yeah. If you watch that, you get to see something like, oh, I don't need that visual in my head ever again. But yeah, the characters, the dialogue, just things they just how they kind of take characters and they switch it up and do even what they did with the doll in that first episode, I laughed
with the legs
hard.
I feel good.
Yeah, because I think I just because she sat on her legs, so they had to replace her leg. And I love the quote, like, I minced her legs with my wagon. Their turn of a phrase is just hilarious. And then there's like a whole thing where I don't want to give anything away, but anyway,
liquor blood, right?
Because there's this, and they don't shy away from sexual stuff. They don't shy away from blood. There's full in the face blood at one point. They just go. Yeah, even the Pride Parade thing just goes and like, holy crap! What is happening here? This is ridiculous. I don't know. I'll stop that. But yeah, this I've laughed. So I've rewatched episodes and re-laughed at the same parts over and over again. It's just so funny. I love these characters and I love the situations that gets themselves into, and just the people that write this show must have so much fun, because it's like, wow, where do they get these crazy ideas from? And just having so much fun and having these characters play off of each other. And you have like little cameos here and there by different people that you might know. but yeah, I this new season, yeah, I just love this show so much. It's one of my favorite shows.
Oh man, I can't agree more. I'll share mine in a minute. Jeff, what was your first impression of these 4 episodes?
Oh, they're great. And I missed last year for some reason, the season 4, so I
No.
binged it before
wow.
watching these, and I'm just like, sometimes some comedies that the jokes get stale and they're old, you get them over and over again. These are they're all, I don't know, they just fit my personality, I guess. Everything from how they always call him Colin Robinson. They never call him Colin. It's always, how you doing, Colin Robinson? And how Laszlo can never call Guillermo. He always calls him Gizmo or some other name with a G. And I don't know. It's I love everything about it. And I don't know. I can't just repeat all the stuff. The acting and the casting is so good because they play their parts so well, and the lines, I swear the lines are written for them, and they're they say them so well. The way, all I'm doing is repeat Christopher, but the way they just roll the line out in the rhythm of their accent or whatever. Nandor's got his own deal. Laszlo and Nadja are all very different, and I was dying at the Energy Vampire Council.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I've been in meetings like that. Oh, it's like somebody pulling. Let's sit here and pull nails out. What?
I was gonna say, the way Matt Berry can just put innuendo into a simple answer by just the way his voice is articulated, just by how he does
so
it.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
They always have, each one of these episodes has a different storyline, but there's multiple storylines, right?
Mm-hmm.
That somehow mesh together. So I loved it. I absolutely love it. And I'll say it again, just so people know that song. The theme song is from 1966 by Norma Tanega. And there is a thing it's on YouTube, but this is somebody I didn't know about her back then. I wish I would have. She was sort of a underground folk icon, kind of. Anyway,
interesting.
I just wish that song had more verses because I love it.
No, true. Crystal, your first impression of the first 4 episodes of season 5, please.
Of course. I mean, I don't really have anything to add because I think everyone has said enough about it already at this point. But I love what we do in the shadows. I love it. And I've said exactly what Christopher said before. Just when you think like there's surely nothing more that they can do. Oh, is that my dog? There's nothing more that they can do. They do. Can you hear it? Can you hear my dog?
Just a little bit. Yep. It's fine.
He's insane.
Atmosphere.
But and they upped the ante big time. I am really interested to see where it goes this season. Let me tell you. So what we do in the shadows killed off Colin Robinson, I actually thought I was going to stop watching the show.
Oh no!
A lot of my friends were not okay with the whole. They thought it was silly that they had an energy vampire, but he's always been probably one of my. I was like, oh god, I don't know. He's like one of my favorites, just because I know people like him, and it makes me laugh. But look what they did. They brought him back better than ever. And the whole thing was actually really it's insane. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And it makes me laugh. That little Colin head on the little, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's so awesome. Like they're very, very, very clever. So now that he's just, he also met back up with his
old flame.
His old flame. There's just a lot going on here. And Nadja and oh my God, the doll. I don't want to give anything away yet, but a lot of it makes sense, but it's also like, okay. I can't believe they did this to me. I literally have an image seared into my brain that I cannot get rid of. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Does it involve Matt Berry?
Colin. Obviously, it's Colin.
Thank you.
He's like, oh, yeah, it's great. Like, no.
Yeah, very fine.
Oh, why? It's awesome. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, yes, it is awesome. And what is so awesome are these characters. They've actually grown so much over these past episodes, and the relationships have, because there are exchanges between like Laszlo and Guillermo that might not have happened the same way 3-4 seasons ago, and Nandor is coming to understand more about himself. Yeah, right. But they always hedge their bets though. It's funny. But they get raunchy and it's great. The jokes are I don't think there's a flat joke in these 4 episodes. They're all just hilarious. We do get to see, like you said, there's a couple of old characters that show up for a scene or two. And the guide, Kristen Shaw, she comes back for a couple of episodes.
She's great.
Oh yeah.
And she's so desperate to be friends. Not working. There's a lot going on, and they could bring the doll in as much as they want, because that doll is hilarious. But Laszlo is just killing. Just the inflection, just the way he says things with inflection. It means so much more than what he's saying, and I find that so fascinating. But let's get into all the particulars, because I know we all want to talk about individual little shots. So we'll go back in order. Christopher, which episode do you want to get into and yak about?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, it's so many. Each episode has this. I mean, I will say it's very funny when they go to the mall. And Laszlo's just going around just like this is where it's like a baby store. It's like this is where they keep the babies. Yeah. And it was like, well, this is where the whores are. And it's like, and then I just thought Nadja taking that doll to one of those like a Build-A-Bear type stores.
I know. Oh my God.
And you have to forgive me for the words, but I'm going to repeat what she said. I need the exact proportions of Venus herself when her pussy was serving witch's tea, nipples so sharp they're on the most wanted list, and a taint that can sign its own checks. That is one of the most brilliant pieces of dialogue I've ever heard in my life. This show is just brilliant. Even just when it's like just simple and profane, because we talk about Laszlo, because there's a part where he's like, it's like, I became a vampire so I could just drink blood and F, it's like,
yes.
He said that word. So it's like, there's like so many different, just the, and you talk about Colin and stuff when he's the server at that restaurant and he's just like doing everything to annoy them. He didn't even, he kept talking about like bringing them jalapeno poppers and he brought them a totally different thing. He didn't even like.
That's the point. Yeah. So let me tell you
that Guillermo had to carry all of the dinners home because nobody else.
He had bags of it. Yeah. Which you can't eat now because he's a vampire.
Like, I did not like when the energy vampire first came out. I was like, oh, it's kind of weird. But I'll tell you, the moment I fell in love with the energy vampires is when Colin, when he was like, and then his eyes started. I was like,
oh my God,
when
he was in the office, right? When he was in his office.
And every time they do that, I'm like, oh, they got me.
Well,
he's super creepy.
His girlfriend does it too. Sorry, go ahead.
We have Vanessa Bayer, who I've actually performed on an improv stage with. So there's like a 1 degree of separation from the show now. But yeah, she's great. And I was love to seeing her back because she does the same thing where she's almost like this like smirk, when she's training people over their emotions, and just that combination, how they work off each other and how they could, basically. You could destroy the world, just the combo of people. But Colin, I think in the very beginning, I didn't really like his character that much. He was just because he felt like such a boring character. But I think as he's gone along, he's really become a part of, like, and we talked about that previously, how he's become a part of that family, and he has his own little shtick to it, to where you're always because he adds that extra little thing that's opposite of what everybody does.
Mhm.
But yeah, just what he did to get out of that becoming a comptroller. But I think for me that's what's so funny, how they incorporate things that we've because we've heard those people that got fired for like showing their penis or whatever during a Zoom call or whatever.
Yes, and he doesn't.
But just how they incorporate those things into stories, or how they incorporated almost like the malignant element to the supernatural part of it,
Oh my God, that was so
Malignant and
good.
Freaks too.
That was so good.
Yeah. So they just it's just very funny how they incorporate stuff that we've known from other things, and just how they work that. Because then you sometimes you don't know where they're going, and when he did that, I was like, oh crap, they went for that. He's just like, they blurred out his junk, but I was like, oh crap.
And then Nandor goes to space. Comes back.
That's actually one of my very favorite things.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the video, the way
Because
the way that he was filming it. I don't know. I don't know what struck me so heavily about this, but this is one of my favorite scenes, is him going into space. And it's part of it is just the way that he's being filmed. And I don't know what, maybe I just watched too much YouTube and stuff like
screen, yeah.
Maybe that's why, because I was like, God, that is really good. But I love how he acts around the whole thing, and then of course coming back down to earth.
Burns all his clothes
and
off.
Of course, something you didn't think about. Re-entry.
Yes. And that's not the weirdest thing that happens there.
No.
But the whole thing with switching bodies so the doll spirit can get laid is so hilarious, especially because they choose Colin Robinson, and he's so analytical about it.
What I thought that they were going to do, though, is put the doll in Nadja. Why are they just not both together in the same body? Wouldn't that be easier?
But it wouldn't be.
That's what I think. That's why they didn't tell you right away what they were doing. They're like, "Oh, can you put the two?" And oh yeah, and I immediately, that's what I thought. And then they're like, "Oh, wait, what are you gonna do?" That's weird.
But then they could do the malignant thing on the.
But then Nadja would have to be getting it with Colin.
Well,
the debate, the campaign debate between Colin and this other woman.
Oh God, yeah.
And then Evie comes in and takes over, and pretty soon his opponent, she's just like the collapse, hanging on the ladder. I sucked it all out of her.
I'm really enjoying Laszlo and Guillermo, because Laszlo knows the secret and he's trying to help him out.
Tests.
Right. So Laszlo is such a complex character, even though on the surface he's very shallow, right? But yet, with Colin Robinson the past couple of seasons, and now with Guillermo, there's so much behind him that, I want to choose a favorite, but they all are my favorites.
I can't.
Well, Nandor is actually, he probably is my favorite. He's the hottest. He's so hot.
Well, Nandor is definitely my favorite.
He's hot.
I've cosplayed him before, but yeah, he's But yeah,
he's naked and gets circumcised to have a friend.
But then he doesn't realize that because he's a vampire, his circumcision goes away.
But then it reminds me of is for Nadja then it should be like she's having sex for the first time every time then too, which is not fun. Not fun.
Do what?
Since she was a virgin.
Her ghost was a virgin.
Right.
But she wasn't. Her ghost was.
The ghost version died before. Her ghost was created before she had sex. That's where a ghost had never had sex.
Right. When she became a vampire.
Huh?
And she was a virgin when she became a vampire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. So she would be like she's having sex for the first time every time if his foreskin is growing back.
Unless she had sex between the time she died and became a vampire, which
she did not. Y'all really aren't getting me?
No, I get it.
Did you watch True Blood?
No.
True Blood.
Oh yeah, you're talking about
Yeah, y'all aren't women, so you don't get it. But it's not pleasant.
Well, I
It's
don't
not
know about that.
pleasant.
That I don't know.
Okay, well, that I'm telling you, it's not
I
pleasant,
told
and
you.
I'm like,
Oh God, why are you gonna put that?
because
I don't think they thought
because
about that part of it. Yeah.
of course they snipped Nandor, and then they had that grow back, which is very awkward. And then they talk. I was like, oh, horrible. And then the
And
doll.
I need more details
you know,
off air.
Yeah, I think we're way off track.
Maybe she had sex in the midst of the process of
that's what
becoming
he
a
was
vampire.
saying.
That's
Yeah,
what I
Yeah,
was
that
saying.
would be.
I want to
that
think
was-
of that because now you just made it.
Yeah.
Or maybe she just likes pain. You know.
Well, maybe that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Good times. Well,
Although
I just. Yeah.
because when she was in
Sorry.
doll form, she was like,
Ugh,
"Get it, Laszlo."
Oh,
so weird.
Well, I think we found out what she really likes anyway. Let's
So weird.
let's go ahead and wrap this up
This
because this is
show.
getting naughty.
Mhm.
Give us your
Oh,
score,
God.
1 to 5, and your favorite scene or scenes. I think Christopher, you're going first.
This season 4 gets a 5 out of 5 for me. It's perfection. It's so well written, and just how they always have put a button on the punchline by the end of it. It's always very funny because, like, you know, I think what we didn't even talk about Robert Smigel, who showed up as the new friend of Nandor, who I don't know if you know who Robert Smigel was. He was once like head writer for SNL. He's the guy that does the voice of the insult comic dog.
Oh,
Who
no.
was he in the show? Who was he?
he was the Jewish.
He's the guy.
friend from the
He's the
Jewish.
Jewish friend.
Oh,
we met.
okay.
That's Robert Smigel.
Yeah, the whole reason for the.
Yeah. So you got Hannibal Buress, comedian, showed up as one of the Energy Vampire Cancel. We got Doug Jones returned again.
Oh,
Doug.
Okay, now I do know. I love Doug.
So, and we get to learn like you can't be bitten by a vampire twice. But yeah, as for favorite scene, God, there's like so many different things. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with the thing that made me just guffaw, and that's when she puts that doll up in the restaurant. Do not press my foot. Don't press the button on my foot. And she's like flashing and having to sing that stupid song like you'd hear like one of those little animatronic things. And although I will say I do kind of find it creepy that Colin likes the doll form,
but it makes sense, doesn't it?
The Nadja form, which is probably why he didn't add underwear or anything to the doll. But yeah, just that bit alone, I wasn't expecting that. I was like, oh, what is happening? And I think that sums up this show in a nutshell. Is just like, just out of the blue, they do something wacky or crazy, and it's like, wow, where did that come from? I just love the surprises on the show. It's like you can't have any expectations of what's going to happen because they always take a left turn and go somewhere dirty or funny or hilarious or just whack-a-doodle. You're like, what is happening on this show? I love it so much.
Jeff, your score, your favorite scene.
Well, since we didn't cover it, I got to put a plug in for the singing child Colin Robinson in last year's episode.
Absolutely.
That had the face
Vampires
of the
love
adult.
singing kids.
Yes. So anyway, you know, God, I can't pick a favorite scene or a favorite episode because there's so many good ones. I have to give this a 5 too because they just keep on surprising me and they just keep on doing it. I keep thinking I'm going to get tired of this, but I don't. It just seems better all the time. I love the Energy Vampire Council. I love the night out with the guys. That line Laszlo has about they're having this thing about how Nandor hypnotizes people too much, including all of wherever it was, Madison Square Gardens at the basketball game. And but then they're with these guys and he starts to tell them that they say, well, you never see you eat or drink. Well, I don't drink because he likes Red Bull and vodka. That seems like a mistake because you could drink, but we pregame and we don't eat, so I won't see it coming back up and spray it all over you. And like, and then the thing with the cop and how just all that stuff. And then there was a line right at the end of that. The cops treat him like royalty because Nandor hypnotizes him. And as Laszlo's walking away, the way he gets rid of him was, coppers, F off. Thank you, Mr. Selleck. And they turn around.
Mr. Selleck.
I don't know. Just stuff like that just cracks me up. There's so many good scenes. So many good actors.
Yes, and the chemistry between them as well.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
We didn't talk about this at all. Sponging Guillermo's sweat and rubbing it all over himself.
Yeah, going to the beach.
So he could go to the beach. I was going, oh my God. Oh, that was so gross, but so funny. All right.
I'm really interested to know where they're going to go with that, because this whole thing changes everything, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do like that he's basically kind of an impotent vampire.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I love the little wings.
Little wings.
Mhm.
Oh God, the little wings killed me.
I feel like that
yeah.
is good. You don't want to. I think it's almost wrong to make him. You know, I bet you a lot of his issues are mental. Is what the whole thing is. They're going to discover that it's all mental because he feels guilty. You know, that it wasn't Nandor, but it's got to be that for sure. It's like performance anxiety. Obviously I'm going to give it a 5. I think this is one of the few shows where like it's always a hit. It's always a hit. I don't think that there's been a joke that has failed for me. Not a single one. I don't even think that there's been a joke that's even been a groaner funny joke for me. So that's kind of crazy. My favorite scene. Well, I did write down the space scene, but and I mean I don't know. I like so much like the energy vampire stuff, like the F this show, man. Like it's so clever and so good. I'm so glad that they've made it for 5 years, because every time I like something a lot, I get super nervous that it's going to fail. But since no one has said the space thing, I know it's weird, but for some reason I love that Nandor space thing.
Great.
I love the way he's recording, and he's like,
I left it for you.
It's just weird.
He laughs.
He
lands and says to Guillermo, well, Mr. Vampires can't fly in outer space.
Yeah.
He's standing there naked with his hair straight.
I like when he realized he made it too. He goes,
yeah, I made it. He's like this show. I mean, obviously, it's fabulous. It's good for everybody except for children, not kids.
Yeah, it's not good for children. Not good for children.
Not kids, because that sex scene.
Oh,
that's why I wouldn't even say the sex scene was my favorite scene, because it's that disturbing. It's so disturbing. I didn't mind her at all. It's till he goes, no.
Well, that and when Nandor shows up in his little crop top.
Oh.
Isn't Laszlo like behind them and joining in on the fun?
Mm.
What do you mean? Laszlo's the one having sex.
Laslo's the one having sex with her.
Yes.
And he's got the doll who's got a crop.
Yeah, and she's
her legs are just
she's
laying down.
She's flogging like.
It's so wrong. This show
I think we covered enough. Go watch that part so you can see. All right, I'm going to give this a 5 as well, because again, I'm just going to emphasize just how much these characters, we talk about this a lot when we review things, the chemistry between the actors and the characters and the growth of the characters is really what keeps this show going, season after season. I mean, yes, the writing's great, the jokes are great, but man, these characters are just so wonderful, and they are kind of dancing delicately with the two main characters shouldn't fall in love kind of trope, because once they do, then what's the show going to do? And in this case, I'm talking about Nandor and Guillermo becoming a vampire, but they're handling it with in a way that really makes it. There's an urgency to it, and it's funny, and and Guillermo's realizing he's in a bind, and he only has Laszlo to help him, and it's just perfect. It's just great. So my favorite scene, I'm gonna go with. I think somebody mentioned it. When they're doing the debate, and when Colin Robinson and what's the girlfriend's name? Evie, and they both turn around and they've got the big happy eyes in the face, and every time I see him doing that, it just kills me. Just the whole glowing eyes and the big smile, straight smile. It was brilliant. That whole concept was just killed me. Just killed me. And the whole thing, because the other guy had, apparently you can't have 9 DUIs. You have 7. So Colin had to step in.
8, but not 9.
9, yes.
Okay, but we didn't even mention the Pride Parade. How his T-shirts.
And Guillermo. Guillermo getting all kind of doing the little wink at the end because he's at the back and you. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I thought Guillermo had a boyfriend there for a second.
I feel like he might have. But anyway, just how awkward it was with that in the backyard or the front yard. And that one woman grabs their child and goes away.
Nandor comes down naked. Yeah.
Then everybody else stays there, but it's perfect. It's so situational.
Well, he says, what is it took me a little bit to get psyched into him, but the Sean character too, I like him a lot. He's such a
the neighbor
stereotype.
Okay,
well,
so what's funny is
maybe you guys could give us some advice on this since you're members of the LGBTQ LMNOP community.
No, but okay, so what's funny is I love how they've made his mind so simple that he can handle being, whatever, glamored or whatever they call it, hypnotized so many times. Yet the principal had a stroke or something.
Well, he doesn't feel like is getting dumber.
Yes.
Because a lot, because he's been hypnotized too many times. Although I did find it funny you mentioned the hypnotizing the police and how Nandor told him that he was Tom Selleck from Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
So that's why he called him Selleck.
Yeah, Mr. Selleck.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Selleck.
I just love how they inject pop culture into this as well. It's just hilarious.
And Laszlo.
Oh, and he's all thrilled with it too.
Yeah.
We could keep going.
Why are they acting like this? I told them.
We could. Yeah, we'd be talking this to the end of time.
I know. We could. There's so much, and it's only 4 episodes. So I guess we have to do the next 6, right? So we'll figure out how we'll squeeze those into our schedule. We must now. All right, there you go. That is our review of the first 4 episodes. We hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like, subscribe, and if you watched it, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What scene did we skip over that you really loved and want to talk about? I'd love to hear that. Jeff, Crystal, Christopher, thank you for joining me. I don't know why I'm doing Buster Brooks.
Alcohol, vampire blood.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me. It's a lot of fun. Yay!
Yay! Yes, it was.
I love this show.
Definitely. Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bat.